I'm Tania Gustafson, award-winning nutritionist, behavior specialist, and certified mental wellness coach on a mission to help midlife women move from barely surviving to thriving. You have been lied to. Weight gain, mood swings, hot flashes, brain fog, despite what the world and even your doctor may have told you, do not have to be your story. You are not broken. You've just never been shown how to fuel your body in a way that creates hormonal balance. Fit Woman Podcast is where we expose the lies and share all things to help women take back control of their health, hormones, weight, and mental wellness and thrive through midlife. I'm so glad you're here. Hello and welcome to the Fit Woman Podcast, where we explore all things to help women fuel their bodies, ignite their metabolism and their minds to thrive through midlife. So I am Tania Gustafson, your host today. And today I'm super excited to talk to a woman who is an absolute front runner in health and the business of health. So I have learned so much from this woman. She's a retired celebrity trainer of 15 years, a holistic nutrition expert and gut health specialist. She's a 50-year-old mom of two and is passionate about helping women in midlife biohack their bodies, reignite their confidence, and fire up their metabolism through her signature program called Reignite Her. I am just thrilled to have Mrs. Mandy White Eskelin join me today. Mandy, welcome.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here. We're going to have so much fun geeking out on all of this stuff, sharing all the nuggets, all the important things that women need to know in midlife, because midlife can truly be your best life.
Absolutely. I totally believe that. I love that. I've connected with so many women that are on the same page, but there's even so many more women out there who just need to hear that message and just have that message of hope that this should be the relaunch time, not like the get in your shell and hide time.
No, exactly. I think it's, like our parents and our grandparents' generation that thinks that way, but we are the generation that is changing that standard. We're changing that thought process. We're changing how women view midlife and live and thrive through midlife, because it doesn't have to be the way that it's been for the last few generations that we've got to witness.
Absolutely. I totally agree. So, all right, give us a little synopsis of what you do, because you do a lot of things and you do them very, very well. So just give us a little 30,000 foot view here.
Of course. Honestly, I wish that I did them all well. I love being able to help women. I've been through so many different phases in my life, but losing weight after kids and then midlife, about 45, hit me like a freight train. And so now on the other side of it, being in that abundant season where I get to truly impact women's lives, I get to help them biohack their body using peptides, nutrition, workouts, break the cycle of dieting, and truly feel confident in their skin again. And that's what we want as women. We want to feel good in our body. And that's what I love helping women do.
Absolutely. So you weren't always a nutritionist, right? Like you weren't always, you had your pro card. So you were doing the on stage with the beautiful body, but that didn't necessarily mean that you were a healthy human, right?
That's right. Well, first it started after having kids. I needed to lose 30 pounds after having two kids via C-section. So I lost that in a very unhealthy way. I'm not going to lie, because that was 17 to 20 years ago. Lost that weight. And then I went on to step on stage and do my very first fitness competition, which was a whole other thing. However, what I learned in those 4 or 5 years that I was competing, not only as a fitness pro, but even when I first started, was that's not a healthy lifestyle. So not only did I lose the 30 pounds in an unhealthy way, now I was hiring coaches that were forcing me to eat even very little and really have a scarcity mindset with food, unhealthy relationship with food. And then I also, just competing and the constant dieting, I did a lot of damage to my metabolism, to my hormones, to my digestion. I even created food sensitivities or I should say my body created food sensitivities to things that I ate on a daily basis. And doctors couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. And this was about 11, 12 years ago. And finally, I decided to take my health back into my own hands. And I went to holistic nutrition school myself. I needed to learn how to heal my body. And then I also became a certified gut health specialist then. But my focus then was me. I needed to heal me because no one could figure out what was wrong with my body from all those years of dieting and the damage that I did. And so then I slowly, once I healed myself, I started really coaching women on a massive scale because that wasn't an unhealthy lifestyle. Sure, I stepped on stage with 9% body fat, and then I show people the picture of me with 30 pounds overweight, and I tell them the most unhealthy that I ever was when I was on stage. The most unhealthy in so many ways. But people see that as like, oh, I want to look like that. Honestly, is it attainable? Sure, but it's not maintainable. It's not a healthy lifestyle, not mentally, not physically, not in any way is it a healthy lifestyle. So I've been on different extremes of health and unhealth to be able to come here and share with people like what is real health and how do we get it at midlife?
That's amazing. And I think really women really need to understand that the images that they're seeing out there now, just because it looks like maybe something you'd aspire to, that it doesn't necessarily mean you're healthy, as you said, right? Skinny does not
No,
equal healthy. Thin
no.
does not equal healthy, in body or in brain.
No, not by any means. And that's the
Yeah.
thing. 9% body fat, like it might look like it's healthy, but you don't know what's going on the inside of there. And mentally, like, my relationship with food, I mean, I would cry being forced to eat like tilapia and asparagus while my family's eating, spaghetti and meatballs that I cooked. And it's not a healthy lifestyle. It's not maintainable long term. And people just get that misconception that that's what I want to look like. No, actually, you think you want to look like that until you get there and you realize A, what it took to get there, and B, the damage that it does to your body to get there.
Yeah. And so, in your expert opinion, is it attainable to get there in a healthy way?
Is it attainable? Yes, absolutely. Now that
Okay.
I know what I know, oh, absolutely.
Very
And
good.
I've even coached women. Once I went through that whole process,
Hmm.
I would actually coach women, like whether they needed to lose 100 pounds or they wanted to prep for stage in a healthy way. And so then I was able to coach women in a healthier way to be able to do it without all the deprivation, without all of the dehydration. Sure, there's still milder forms of it, but in a healthier way. Yes, is it attainable? Absolutely, but not maintainable. It's not something that you would want to create a lifestyle from that long
Yeah.
term. And then the goal is after competitions. Like, and most people don't want to compete, but let's say you want it to look like, what does it look like afterwards so that I have a healthy lifestyle that I can sustain something close to that? But what if that was a version of healthy versus that unhealthiness of being on stage?
Right. No, absolutely. Because, if you can't maintain something for life, you're really setting yourself up to fail.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely you are.
totally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So over the last year, so you went to nutrition school, you're the gut health specialist, the gut guru, we call you.
Yeah.
And and how important is the gut? Let's start with that.
Oh my gosh. That is, and I love this conversation because most people do not realize that, yes, you might have heard the gut is the second brain, but I honestly believe that the gut is our first brain in so many situations.
Mm,
It literally affects our mood, our cravings, everything, how we operate in a day is determined by what's going on in our gut because
mhm.
our gut is what produces the serotonin, which is what makes us feel happy. 90% of our serotonin is produced in our gut.
Yeah.
90%. So our gut determines if we're happy for the day or not. Like, let's just even talk about that. If we feel happy or
Exactly.
sad, it's determined by our gut. Then our gut also produces 50 to 70% of our dopamine, which is what makes us feel motivated, makes us want to get out of bed or get up off the couch. 50 to 70% of that is produced in our gut. And then we've got the GABA, which GABA is what makes us feel like calm, like less anxious, right?
Yeah.
50% of that is produced in our gut. Then we've got 70% of our hormone function is regulated in our gut. 70% of our immune system is regulated in our gut. So literally our gut is one of the most important things. And then it talks to our brain, and then our brain with the two-way highway through the vagus nerve, not Vegas like where I live, but Vegas. The vagus nerve is like a two-way highway. The gut
Mhm.
talks to the brain then tells the gut, digest food, here, and so it's really crazy how this two-way communication works. But our mood, our motivation, our cravings, our metabolism, everything starts in the gut. It is so vital to what we do, and most people don't even realize it. So if you are feeling, let's say sad, or you're feeling anxious, we got to go back to your gut and what have you been eating? How is your gut feeling? And let's heal that first and watch how it changes all of the other aspects of your life.
Right. I totally agree. And so when you're working with your clients, I'm which is the first go-to? Is it food? Is it gut? Is it the combination because they're together, or is it something else?
It's the combination. First, I want to know what's going on with you. Like, tell
Yeah.
me things that you're struggling with, because underneath all of that, then I go to, all right, I've got gut issues, I've got acid reflux, I've got IBS. Okay, great. Now that tells me a lot. Now let's talk about what are you putting in your gut, right? Let's talk about what you're putting in your body that's causing that, because I don't want to just give them the solution of, hey, eat different things. I want to dive into what's really going on underneath there and then point out what you're eating and how that is affecting that, and then why we need to change this so that we can heal that. So it's definitely a simultaneous thing, I believe, but we got to know what's going on, because I like to be that mirror for my clients and like, okay, hey, here's what's gone on in your gut. Let me tell you why that's going on, right? So to really like dive in with them and figure out what is that underlying thing, and then help them realize that what they're doing and what they're eating or not eating is what is affecting all of that.
Absolutely. And when you said not eating that, that's a good point because sometimes, like I found with my own clients, they can be eating really good, healthy food, but they are missing certain things and they're still getting some sort of adverse reactions or allergic reactions or gut issues or the brain fog or because they're missing some micronutrients or
Yeah.
something like that. Right. And so then let's talk about filling your gaps because I know doctors even say you can get everything you need
Mm.
just from this planet.
No.
And I actually had a family member the other day tell me that their doctor told them not to take vitamins. Yeah, I know, right? I had the same reaction. I was dumbfounded. I'm like, what? Like, what are you doing? I don't understand that. And so unfortunately, most people are listening to those kinds of things and they're thinking, well, yeah, I'm getting everything from my food because I'm eating healthy. But are we sure you may do that for a couple days, but I don't think anyone's ever doing that 24/7, 365. I know personally, even as a health pro, I'm not. So how about
No.
yourself? Like, what do you do?
No, and that's so important because our soil, like you live in Canada, I live here in the States, it doesn't matter. Our soils have been overturned, right? Like the soil is depleted from those important micronutrients. And most people don't realize that most of our produce is picked before it's ripe,
Yeah.
right? It's harvested before it's ripened. So one of two things happen. Either it ripens on the way to the grocery store, or it's sprayed with a chemical to force it to produce its color. So when you
Mm.
might be looking at something, even if it's organic, okay? Organic, of course, is always better. But even if you're looking at the fruit, it might look like it has all the colors, but it's so lacking the important micronutrients, vitamins, minerals, enzymes, and antioxidants that our bodies actually need. And here's what's happened. When we don't get those important micronutrients, our body becomes stressed internally. That stress causes inflammation, and inflammation is what causes disease, right? Doctors might treat the symptoms of the disease, but the underlying foundational level is the fact that you're not getting what your body needs, and it's causing the disease, the illness, and all of that. So why not go back to what am I not getting? What am I deficient in? And yes, it's because, listen, and then our not just our produce, but our food is over processed
Yeah.
and our produce is missing everything. So now our bodies are already lacking. So the fact that even a doctor would say not to take vitamins cracks me up, or even people that say, well, I don't need to take a supplement. I just laugh because we cannot get everything from our food alone today. Our bodies are nutrient deficient. We're starving. They're starving for the right type of nutrients that we need to give it. And when we do, inflammation goes down. The body will naturally reverse disease and illness. It's amazing what it can do when we give our body what it needs. But it can't get everything from food alone today.
Yeah. No, we are designed to heal. I totally agree. And I know for myself, when I've added certain supplements years ago, that's what sort of launched me into this whole thing. I noticed right away, like you were saying, I had struggled with arthritis pain for 20 years. And once I realized how to minimize that inflammation and where my gaps were, I
Yeah,
got rid of that. As a 41-year-old woman, was able to get rid of arthritis I had for 20 years. Now, I'm not making any claims or anything. I'm just saying that you're absolutely right. When we address those things, it's like, oh, well, maybe we could improve our quality of life. And what else could we do? You know?
absolutely.
So one of the tools that you have added to your toolbox, which I am adding to mine as well, is peptides. It's a big buzzword out there, right? Huge buzzword. And then it creates a whole kerfuffle of conversation every time it goes out there, right? Because we have people going, yes, it's amazing. And then other people going, oh my gosh, no, it's terrible for you. But I think we need to unpack the difference between, because there's a lot of talk around, the weight loss drugs as being the same thing as a peptide, which they're not. And
Mm-mm.
so let's just start with there, because okay, the number one weight loss thing out there is the Ozempic, the Wegovy,
Ugh,
those. Yeah, my exact thoughts. Because you and I have talked to other health
yeah.
professionals that see the internal results of these things, and they're
Yes.
not so great. So give us a little synopsis about what you have discovered with that versus peptides. So let us, and then you can sort of break down what each one is and the difference so people can understand that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So those medications, those drugs are not peptides, okay? And so let me just talk about what peptides are. Peptides are naturally occurring in our body. They're naturally occurring in our body. They are chains of amino acids. And guess what amino acids are? They're the building block of protein. We
Mhm.
eat protein, that is an amino acid, right? So these are just specific chains, excuse me, of amino acids that go in and tell your body to do specific things. That's exactly what it does. And if you think about it, most people are at their most optimal health between the age of 25 and 30. That is most people's
True. Yes.
peak age range. The At that time, we have all of those peptides. We have all those peptides working and telling us to decrease inflammation and to do this job and to do this job and to do this job. But as we age, and then toxins and age and hormones and different things affect our own body's production of these peptides. So putting a little messenger in to go in and tell it to do a specific job. Like, let's just talk BPC 157 for a second,
Okay.
because it's one of my favorites. It's all about decreasing inflammation in the body,
It's
healing
quite
the gut.
popular. It's quite
It
popular.
is
Yeah.
absolutely, if I had to say there was one I'd be on for life, that is it.
Okay.
And because it systemically, on a cellular level, decreases inflammation in the body. Now, it is not a drug to tell it to do that. It is this little messenger that gets put in your body, and it goes and tells your body to decrease inflammation. It's like this little computer chip, microchip, I guess is the right word, that tells it to do it exactly that job in the body. The goal is for us to bring our body back to that, as close to that 25 to 30-year-old homeostasis when it was the happiest, healthiest possible, and give it what it's been missing over the last 20, 30 years, and allow the body to do what it's meant to do. And that is where peptides come in. Now, there's hundreds of different types of peptides because they
Mhm.
are just chains of amino acids. Now, let's switch gears for a second and talk
Okay.
about the drug,
Yeah.
right? So Ozempic started out as a peptide. The peptide version of it was semaglutide. One semaglutide, okay?
Yep.
Semaglutide only works with GLP-1 receptors, which we can even dive into how we have our own body's natural GLP-1 receptors
We
that
do.
we
Absolutely.
do. We have those natural receptors.
Yep.
It talks to the brain, but it's a peptide, right? It's a signaling system. Well, when, let's just say, Big Pharma took over that peptide because they saw the results, they turned it into a pharmaceutical drug. That one peptide is Ozempic. Gosh, I don't remember the other name.
Wegovy, I think, is
Yeah,
the other,
Wegovy.
and
Yeah.
Manjaro. There's a couple of other ones.
Mounjaro is the second one, which is GLP-2. So
Okay.
they're a little bit different. And then there's now a GLP-3 that is not a drug yet. It is still a peptide. This is my favorite one, and we can talk about that a little
Okay.
bit. So there are different types of GLP-1s. There's semaglutide that turned into Ozempic,
Mhm.
then, which this is a single agonist. It just works with GLP-1 receptors. Then there is GLP-2, which is the peptide name of it is tirzepatide.
Okay.
It turned into Zepbound, Mounjaro. So this one is a 2 agonist
Okay.
peptide. It works with GLP-1 and GIP. And then there's the GLP-3, which is not yet a drug, which I'm happy about. It is actually a peptide. It works a little bit with GLP-1, GIP, and then the third agonist that this one has that the other ones don't,
Yep.
it's glucagon, and it works through your liver to help
Mm,
rejuvenate the liver,
right.
detoxify the liver, because we can regenerate our liver, and our liver is one of the biggest holding like filter of toxins in our
Right.
body. It can hold up to 15 pounds. And so I love this new one that is a peptide. It is not a drug yet, which I'm very happy about, but it works through the glucagon receptor. So glucagon basically releases glucose into the bloodstream. And then now you have a little bit of the GLP-1 and the GIP to help regulate that. So it works more so on regeneration, detoxification, fat burning, keeping muscle, and burning fat, other than these other two, which you and I know we've fixed and had to help so many people who've
Oh,
just destroyed their body, their
mm.
metabolism, their digestion, their muscle mass, everything with these other two. So that's why I do like this one. But the difference is when these have become a drug, we don't know what else is being put in it. It's no
Thank
longer,
you for touching on it. I was going
yes,
to ask, yes, what is
yes.
the difference between, because people are going, okay, but it's this, but it's that, but how is it, what does it matter if they regulate it and call it a drug? So, yeah,
Mm.
tell us
Well,
why. That's really important.
it is because you can't patent. Okay, so let me be clear here.
Right.
You cannot patent a molecule. You can't patent, or let me just say, you can't patent a chain of amino acids
It's
that is
like you can't
naturally
patent a
occurring.
food.
Yes, you can't patent a food.
No.
It is naturally occurring, right? It is
Mhm.
naturally occurring chain of amino acids. You can't patent that. So what they have to do is they have to then turn it into a drug and they do something different to it. We don't know what that is. What is the other ingredients? How are they changing that chain of amino acids? Are they putting something in there? Listen, this can be very controversial, but what are they putting in there that might make you need it for the rest of your life,
Well,
right?
clearly there's something that has been added if
Yes.
people are now getting adverse reactions from the brand named
Hmm.
drugs.
Yes.
And sure, this might be controversial. I don't care because I think people need to
People need
hear
Mhm.
what's going on. I've heard from other gut health specialists, colorectal surgeons, people that the damage that's being done inside,
Yeah.
they're seeing it at a surgical level,
It,
and it's
yeah.
horrible.
It's
There's
horrible.
some cases out there right now in court with regards to blindness.
Hmm. Yeah, and that
You
this
know,
is where I get really frustrated because
yeah,
I've been fixing people on the back end for years that have that their doctor has put them on this medication, not the peptide, the medication,
medication.
right? And they have gastroparesis, they've completely shut down their digestion, they can't eat, they've lost muscle mass, they're like skin and bones, like literally just skin.
Yeah,
They have a terrible relationship with food because it says suppress so much of their appetite that they don't even eat. Now I got to try and help them refeed their body, and they're terrified to eat because they're scared to put any weight back on, which we need to feed
exactly.
the muscle, right? Now you're also losing bone mass, which as we age as women, bone density because of our estrogen and our hormones, it already starts to decrease. Then you compound that with as we age in our hormones as women, we
Yep,
lose muscle mass every single year. Now you're giving yourself a drug that's causing you to decrease your muscle mass even more and your bone density. Like we need muscle. Muscle burns fat. Let me just tell you that again. Muscle burns fat. Muscle is golden. We need the muscle in order to burn the fat. Now you have something that you're not eating, you're losing muscle, you have something that's literally starving you away, of course it's going to affect your hair loss. It's
Oh,
going to affect your eyesight because you're losing weight. You're not giving your body those nutrients. Now we're
yeah.
not just talking micronutrients, we're talking macronutrients like proteins, healthy fats, as well as carbs that we need for brain function.
Yeah.
Now you're not giving your body any of that. You're starving yourself and you wonder why, and I'm just saying, you got to be your own health advocate because a doctor can
Totally.
prescribe that to you, but you got to be your own health advocate to where you are aware of, okay, this is how I'm feeling. This is what's going on. Obviously, there's a problem. I need to stop this and find the right type of help because listen, doctors don't know everything when it comes to this type of thing where you and I have been helping people on the back end fix their body from the damage that they're doing. But
Yeah.
we have to be aware for our own selves of what we're doing and know that that's not normal. That is not a peptide. Let me just say that. That
No.
is not peptides.
And it's interesting. I'm so glad that you touched on that whole regulatory thing because I think that gives people, and I mean, years ago, before I got into health, I was this way, right? If it's on the shelf, if it's approved or whatever, okay, it's safe for us because they've done all the testing. And what that literally means, like you said, is it's been changed and regulated and given a stamp of approval. The approval maybe not necessarily have been safety tested with the way they've been changed it, approved in order to be sold as a drug, not approved as, oh, this is going to be great for you health wise, approved that it's, being able to be sold as a drug. And yes, it does give you the desired outcome, which is weight loss. But we know that weight loss doesn't equal health.
No, the number on the scale is not a determining factor for your
Exactly.
health. It is not.
No.
I've been there. I've been on both extremes of it. It is not a determination of health. Like when I was weighing 113 pounds, 9% body fat on stage, I was so unhealthy, but people looked at me and were like, oh my gosh, I want to look like you. How do you do that? No, like I don't want that for anybody. And now at 130 pounds, I'm healthier and happier at 50 years old than I ever have been in my life. And that's what's possible for people when you do it the right way, because it's not about the number on the scale. I get we want to feel confident in our skin. I get we want to
Totally.
look and feel good naked, right? Like I get that. I get we want to fit in a certain size, but it shouldn't be at the detriment of your own health. And
No.
that number on the scale does not determine that at all. And
Mm-mm.
so this is where you got to start thinking about, am I doing something that is going to help me long term or harm me long term?
Yes, that is the best question. And you are an amazing example of that. I mean, you look amazing.
Thank you.
I,
I,
you
I've
you
been
look
through all of it.
you've been through all of it. And I think it's a really great, if someone were to, I wish I had brought up your picture so we could show the before and the after, like, your picture that you show people sometimes. And if you have it,
I actually have it. I have it from, get this, I have it from when I
okay.
lost the 30 pounds. I
Yep.
have the picture of me being on stage. Then I have the picture of me actually when midlife hit at 45 and I gained another 20 pounds. And then I have me now. So I actually have it. If you
Oh,
want
good.
to
Yes,
allow me, yeah,
you can share.
okay.
Absolutely. I would love for everyone to see this because
Yeah.
I think that's super important. So let's just see. Okay.
Okay,
There
here
we
you go.
go.
So there's my journey. 30 pounds overweight. I'm telling you, I have the
Right
proof
here.
here.
Yep.
Then my first competition, this wasn't even at my skinniest. It was like a couple months later that
Oh
I
my
got
gosh,
even
I can't even
tinier
imagine.
and more shredded. This was my very first competition. Then this is mid 40s. This is 45 where I gained like 20 pounds and everything. Here's what's crazy. This one in midlife, right here at
Yep.
45. I know how to eat right, right?
Yes,
Not diet. I
you
know
do.
how to eat PFC. I know how to work out. I know what supplements to take. But all of a sudden, those things stopped working for me, right?
Mm,
And then I realized, okay, I'm in a new season. I've got to figure this out. I've got to figure out what will work for me. And one thing that I was completely against was the drugs, the Ozempics, the Zepbound, all of that. I was like,
totally.
absolutely, I will not do that. But I started doing my research on peptides, on different types of peptides
Okay.
to help my own body do what it's meant to do. And then now this is at 50. This was actually just like 2 weeks ago. And I show
Beautiful.
this not to brag, but to me at 50, I'm healthier than all of those phases. And that was over
Wow.
20 years,
Yep.
and what's really possible for women today, it's And that's what I want to help with. And that's what I'm so passionate about. And I know you are too.
Yeah. Oh, totally. I didn't have that on stage picture or anything like you did, but I mean, I am healthier and stronger in my 50s at 57 than I was in my 20s and 30s. And I share that with women too, just so that, not to brag like you said, but so that women know that it's possible, because women have honestly been told lies, more and more lies about, well, it's midlife, you just have to accept it. You're gonna gain weight, you're gonna get the hot flashes, you're gonna get all the things, just gonna ride it out, dear. It's okay.
No.
If I hear one more doctor say that, I'm gonna like absolutely scream. It's terrible.
It's
Women do
true.
not have
It's
to do
true.
that.
But let's talk about that for a second, because even with like doctors, right?
Yeah.
When you go to the doctor to get your basic hormones checked, they're like, oh, well, you're in natural range for your age. I'm like, I
Uh,
don't want to be in natural range for my age. I want to be like I was when I was 25, 30 years old.
yeah.
That's the most ideal. And that's when you got to find doctors. Again, be your own health advocate. You
Yeah.
know, for me, I tried hormone replacement therapy after that,
Mhm.
45-year-old time. It didn't work for me. It didn't work for me, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Now I have found things that work for me naturally, which
Yeah.
are peptides. But my hormones, I sleep well. I mean, like literally everything that I needed to do, or I needed my hormones to do, I've been able to do with peptides. So right now I'm not on HRT. And here's what's great is there's a lot of women that cannot get on HRT. They cannot get on hormone replacement therapy because of, whether it's history of breast cancer or cancers in their family, they
Mhm.
cannot get on those hormone replacement therapy. So then what's their alternative? And so I like to always go to the doctor and go, I think it's so funny. I just went, of course, for my annual checkup when I turned 50. And she's like, oh, you look amazing. All your things are in perfect range for your age. And I'm like, I'm just like laughing to myself, because it's like, do I want to be like the typical average 50-year-old, or do I want to be like I was, how can I rewind, right? Like, don't we want
Yes.
anti-aging?
Age
Like,
younger. Age
yes,
younger. Yeah,
yes, exactly.
totally.
So be your own health advocate when it comes to that kind of thing. And don't just
Yeah.
settle. We don't have to just go, oh, you're going to gain weight. No, it doesn't have to be that way. If
No.
you want to do that, you're more than welcome to. But, I work with women who are like, heck no, I don't want to feel this way. I want to sleep better. I want to feel sexy. I want to have my libido back. I want to feel good in my clothes and confidence. Like that's what it's really about, is how you feel. And it's not about that number on the scale.
No, totally not about if you want to throw the scale away, just go ahead.
Hmm?
Because
Yep.
when you address all of those other things, like the sleep and like the proper eating and filling your nutritional gaps and learning to do the right exercise, because I mean, oh my gosh, that's a whole other podcast. But right, you and I could go down that road too. But when they learn to put in all of these things, the weight takes care of itself. You just have to find those gaps, starting with the balance and doing all the things. And then, okay, you're going to make a little bit of progress. Some going to make a lot of progress.
Yeah.
But if you're not, okay, then where's your gap? And you need to find people who are going to advocate with you or help you to find your gap and fill it.
Yeah, I love that. I
Yeah,
love that. And
absolutely.
not just go, oh, okay, well, or try another diet, right? Like, or
Right.
let me go read on the internet and oh, well, this is the new diet fad. And this like enough of like the yo-yo cycle of
Totally.
dieting. Like I don't, and I know that you don't either, Tanya,
Yeah.
but we don't diet. I don't ever have to diet. I
Mm-hmm.
live with food freedom. I can go on Thanksgiving Day, which is coming up for us. I can go on Thanksgiving and I can enjoy my day and know what I need to put in my body and know what to eat, and I don't have to worry about, oh, I can't have that, or oh, that's too many calories, or that's too many point. I don't know.
No.
Like, who wants to live like that? Like, I used to live, and the reason I say that is when I was competing, I used to carry a food scale in my purse with me. I literally would weigh, and this was that unhealthy relationship with food, but I would
Yeah.
go to a restaurant, I would weigh that food before I'd put it in my mouth. I would anything. I carried my food a lot of times with me in containers. I like bulk containers, and I would weigh it out before I would eat it. Like I had such an unhealthy relationship with food, and no one should live like that,
No.
right? And nobody should be stuck on eating chicken, broccoli, and rice. I did that.
Um,
Yeah, I can't even eat that today. It's so funny. I can't. I did that way too much
That's
in
a
my
typical bodybuilder fitness model. That's like,
yeah.
just eat this on repeat forever and you're going to look
Ugh.
great.
And it doesn't work because your body becomes a lot of times intolerant to those foods. We have to cycle in our proteins.
Yes.
We have to change all of those things because if you constantly are just putting the same thing in your body over and over, your body is going to be like start to form an intolerance and a sensitivity to those foods, which it
Right.
happened to me. Chicken and eggs. Of course, gluten and dairy cause me issues, but even chicken and eggs that I was eating on a daily basis, it's because I was not cycling it. That's all I was eating.
Yeah.
That was the biggest culprits for me. Now, can I eat eggs today? Absolutely, because I've healed my gut.
Yeah.
But I don't want to diet again. Like, I never want to go, oh my gosh, I can't have that. I need to cut back on this. I need to cut back on this.
Right.
Because I know, and you know as well, we're already deprived, but of the important nutrients. Now we go
Yeah.
and pull more foods away that could be giving us that nutrients. No, I want to give people, and my biggest argument with my clients is this is too much food to eat. I'm like, good, eat it anyway. I don't care, eat it anyway. Because you've been starving yourself for so
Mhm.
long that your body is angry at you. It's pissed off at you and it's
Yeah.
storing everything as fat. It's producing and storing more fat. But when we retrain it, that it's going to know that you're eating every 3 to 4 hours, not only rebalancing blood sugar and cravings, but it's like, oh man, I got to hurry up and burn this off. Whew, she's going to feed me again. I got to hurry up and burn this off. Now it increases your metabolic rate and causes you to feed the muscle and burn more fat instead of storing it in that deprivation, like in that most women, I should say, are in that
Right.
deprivation.
Most women, yeah. And most women are not eating enough protein,
No,
right?
no, no,
Not at all.
no.
I would venture to say, and I don't know if you found this too, that you could tell them to eat protein at every meal and they're probably still not even going to eat too much.
Yeah, you're not going to eat too much. I
No.
mean, I have to tell them eat more than that. Eat more than that. And they're like,
Yes.
I can't eat more than that. Yes, you can. I promise. I promise you. And even the old story. Well, if you eat too much protein, it's going to convert it to fat or something like that.
Oh
I'm
my.
like, no, it's not going to convert it to fat. You need it to feed your muscle so that your
Yeah.
muscle can burn more fat.
Yeah.
And so most women do not get enough protein. Most on average, I would honestly say even with all the clients that I coach right now, when I start diving into their nutrition, they may be getting 60 to 70 grams average a day. That's the average woman. And we
Yeah.
need double that. We
Yeah,
need double that.
for sure, right? So how important is the relationship with the nutrition when you put in the peptides?
Oh,
Like, if you
great.
didn't do the nutrition, could somebody just, let's put it this way, could somebody just go, oh, peptides, it's magic. Let me take these. And I don't have to worry so much about my food because I'm taking this.
I love that. And people ask me all the time, well, hey, I bought these peptides online. Will you just tell me how to take it? I'm like, no, because my program includes how to eat, the right nutrition, what type of workouts you need to support your body in order when you're on any of these peptides. Like, let's just talk GLP-3 because it's the only one
Okay.
that I do use. But it's so important to make sure that we're getting that proper nutrition in because if there's going to be a little bit of appetite suppressant, now you're not hungry, now you're eating even less,
Mm,
now you're going to compromise the muscle that we
yeah.
don't want to.
No.
And so, like, nutrition is such a huge piece to this. Now, there are other peptides, like for skin and collagen production, that don't affect whatsoever your nutrition,
Right.
or your blood sugar at all. Like ones to decrease inflammation, ones to help, collagen and skin production. Other ones are anti-aging. Other ones are actually to put on muscle, but not like a testosterone, but to actually increase your natural growth factors and your muscle mass, but you still have to eat right. Like I will not just say, "Hey, go buy that and I'll tell you the dose." No, because there's so many other factors. I like to call this like a cake, right? If you're going to bake a cake, I can't give you one ingredient and you're going to bake the cake and it's going to come out the chocolate cake way, right?
Right.
You need all of the ingredients in order for it to come out the way that you see that picture that you want it to look like. So there's so many different ingredients, and a peptide is one ingredient in that recipe to help you get to your goal and to help you whatever that is. Like if it's when you were 25 or
Mhm.
30, or if it's this, model or whatever, right? Like whatever that is, in order to get to that goal, there are multiple ingredients in that recipe that have to work together
Mhm.
synergistically, just like supplements, like vitamins, minerals, and enzymes and antioxidants. That is one of the ingredients in there too. So just going and buying peptides off of the internet and just looking up a peptide calculator, I'm not touching that. I like good luck with that one because there's so many other pieces to that recipe in order for you to get the optimal result that you want.
Yeah, thank you for that because it's just so important that people know it doesn't matter what newfangled thing comes out, whether it's good for you or not so good for you, there's never going to be a one magic bullet for anything,
No, there
right? If
really
someone's
isn't.
telling you that, just run. Because it's not you might get a little bit of something at the beginning, but it's not going to give you the benefits the long term. And so peptides for the GLP-3 is what you're
Mhm.
using for if women are having some difficulty losing weight along with your program. What about for other issue? What else do we use peptides for?
A lot of things.
Okay.
There's one peptide, and it's called a copper peptide, GHKCU.
Hmm.
This one is amazing for skin collagen production on a cellular level. Okay.
Okay.
It really does. It's great. Now, there's blends that it's paired with the BPC 157, which is for inflammation and recovery. And then there's TB 500, which also helps with like tendons and connective tissue and those like repairs. So when now you combine all of those into one blend, which is one of my favorite blends called Glow, it helps with skin collagen production, repairing inflammation, joints, look, you name it, it's all in one. So there's ones that are just for that, right? Or you could take the single one by itself, but now they're coming out with these blends. And again, it's just a chain of amino acids that tells the body to do exactly specific things. There's other ones that are for like support with like your sex hormone and sex drive and make you want to feel like, wow, okay, like let's
Okay.
go, honey, let's go. Like there's ones that support that, but they don't affect your actual hormone production, right? It
Okay.
just is that feeling. It's that sometimes we lose it as women, and especially in this whole midlife thing. Like
Well, and
libido
I
is a
think
big
if you're
thing.
not feeling comfortable in your body, then you're just going to be
Yeah,
losing that too, because you're just not going to feel like you. You're not going to feel sexy. You're not going to feel beautiful. You're not going to feel,
yeah.
motivated at all, really.
No, no. And that's just it. So there's so many different types of
Hmm.
them. Like there's other ones that help with specifically with like stubborn belly fat, but they don't affect your insulin or anything like that. So
Okay.
there's just like so many different ones. I'd probably say like I stick to about a dozen of them, and some of them is really cool because you can stack them, meaning like you can take them on the same day. They don't counteract each other, but you're telling your body to go to work and do all of these different things at the same time. There's one that's it's more of a nutraceutical, but it is
Mhm.
NAD plus, and that is for mitochondrial energy.
Mhm.
So not like I need caffeine or more happy
Right.
juice kind of energy, like on a cellular, like your cells are energized to start doing their job and producing
Well,
and
because the
doing.
mitochondria is the powerhouse of your cell. It's where your energy is like produced and comes from. So if we can bolster that, then you're naturally getting more energy, correct?
Correct. Naturally
Ah,
going to
okay.
feel more energetic. Like one's for gut healing, so there's so many
Mhm.
different things and they're just little like messengers. Because again, the job is to tell your body what to do, right? And we used to
Yeah.
have these things. We used to all have them in our body, but things happen, hormones change, our life changes, stress, and then we don't produce those peptides in our body anymore. And why not give them, because um, I like to also kind of correlate or an analogy wise
Mm.
peptides with like vitamins, right?
Okay.
You take specific vitamins to do specific things, right? You need
Right.
omega 3s for decreasing inflammation. You need vitamin C and zinc for your immune system. And you need B12 and your B vitamins for energy. Peptides, if you think of them very similar, they're just designed to do a specific job in your body. And just like vitamins, you take them because you know that you need them because they're going to help your body, right? They're going to help your body fill in those nutritional gaps, but also so your body can do what it's meant to do, and that's be
Right.
healthy. This isn't about like weight loss we're talking about here. We're talking about
No.
health. And so we want to give our body these little messengers and tell it to do what it's supposed to do. There's even ones for brain health. There's even like there's just so many. It's really crazy what it is, and it's not going, peptides are not going anywhere. They really aren't going anywhere anytime soon because it is the future of regenerative health. And that's exactly what we want is don't we want
Hmm.
to longevity, vitality, be able to function later in life? And I think they're saying that like our generation, we will be the generation that's going to live closer and maybe even past 100 because of a lot of the technology that we have right now. And then our kids, they're going to be living to like 120 because of what we're learning now that we can do preventative wise, right? If you got to think about the preventative, not
Yes.
wait until you're sick and, like I need this so desperately. Why not prevent any of the disease and illness so that we can have that longevity and vitality?
Absolutely. And I think, if correct me if I'm wrong, but peptides have been used for probably over a decade in sports and things for regenerative medicine and for healing and all the
Yeah,
things, right? I don't know exactly how long, but it's been a
it's been a
while.
while. It's been a
And
while.
yeah, and it's not really coming out mainstream. And again, I think it probably has to do with what you talked about with the approvals and things, right?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't have the
The
little
stamp,
official
but
stamp.
I
But
love
yeah, and yeah, that's interesting because Canada is similar to the United States in that. And so I know that if you go and look it up, it'll say that it's experimental or something,
yeah,
you know.
research and listen,
Yeah.
we can totally get into all of this, but
Yeah.
like here in the States, FDA approves Twinkies and Oreos. Like you
Oh,
can literally say they're FDA approved, which is
oh,
disgusting,
it is
but
disgusting.
FDA does not approve vitamins, produce, anything that has to do with real food. That's
Right.
a really interesting fact.
It
Okay.
is because your FDA is called the Food and Drug
Yes.
Administration, right? We're just called Health
Drug.
Canada up here, but there's a lot of things on the
Yeah.
shelf, same as you, like 5 Hour Energy shots, and we have Twinkies and things up here too. None of which are food, none of
Mm-mm.
which promote health in any
No,
way, shape, form, or
no,
fashion.
no.
And then when things come up that have literally a long-standing track record of helping people, then it's labeled, oh, well, we haven't approved it because it's not something that you can approve. Like it's not,
Yeah.
you can't, it'd be like trying to license vitamin C.
Yeah, you can't. Now, can you
No,
have certain regulations that it can't be, but again, it's FDA does not put a stamp on a banana,
no,
right? They don't. They can't
no.
put a stamp on a banana because it's naturally occurring. Just like a lot of the peptides, they can't put a FDA stamp of approval on a chain of amino acids because it's naturally occurring in our body.
Yeah, it's not
So,
something you can patent that because it's a like same like the vitamin C. You can't patent those things because they are naturally occurring and they've been with us forever.
yeah.
And yeah, so I think this is a very beneficial conversation for a lot of people that are going to have their eyes opened because it may be something that they've heard about and then thought, Googled it and went, ooh, I don't know if I can do experimental, and
Yeah,
to be
yeah.
completely honest, that was me. I was looking and I was like, okay, but I know better, so I'm going to do a deeper dive. Um, but yeah, if you just go with whatever first pops up on the screen, and this goes for anything you search on Google, everybody who's watching, if you're a doctor Googling, do not go with the very first thing that pops up on your screen. Like,
No.
keep going, look at the source, find some, pick another page, pick a different browser, do some other things. Don't just go with whatever pops up first, because it may be, but it may not be the exact right truth. There may not be all of it there, there might be
Yeah,
like
you
little
can
bits of
do
it.
some like deeper dive
Yeah.
research. And I have to say, a couple years ago, and I'm being very honest, like a
Yeah.
little over 2 years ago, I thought peptides were Ozempic. Like I did.
Mm.
I just was ignorant because all I saw was the damage that people were doing
Yeah.
and to their body, and I was trying to help them. And I just was so turned off because in my limited understanding a few years ago was that Ozempic was peptides and all peptides were that. And I injured my shoulder. I slipped down the stairs right here in front of my desk,
Ooh.
ripped my shoulder back. I knew immediately, like I knew I heard it. But I was just not going to go to the doctor. Okay. I was like, no, I don't want to know. And so anyway, I ended up starting to get like frozen shoulder. Like I could not even like lift my arm, put my shirt on. I had to get my husband to help me wash my hair. Like I'm like, okay, I was finally stubborn enough. And he's like, babe, would you just trust me and try this peptide? I'm like, no, I don't want, again, limited information a couple years ago.
Right. Yep.
I'm like, no, I don't want to put that in my body. And he's like, babe. And then when he started teaching me, because my husband, and you know him, Tanya, he
Yes.
is a geek when it comes to all things health and fitness and all of
He's like
that.
a walking encyclopedia with all of this stuff. Like
He
he's
is.
got it all up there for
I
sure.
don't know where he pulls it from, but I'm like, where did you learn that? Like, how do you know all of this? So he's like, no, babe, there is one that is going to actually help that repair. And so I have to tell you, I'm like reluctantly like, okay, fine. But, I was really scared. And again, I trust my husband. So I made him give me the shot in my shoulder and it started to feel better. And I said, you know what? I just want to make sure like nothing's seriously done. So I went and I got an MRI maybe like 2 months after this. Okay. Now, 2 months, I've been using the peptides 3 times a week for the inflammation, for the healing. And it started to feel better, but I still didn't have my full range of motion. So I had made the appointment with the osteopath, sorry, no,
Osteopath?
osteopath. Thank you.
Yep.
To go and do the MRI. So I did the MRI and I went and he read the results and he's like, you see this white right here? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, that's not a tear. Your body has repaired itself. I'm like, oh. He's like, if it were dark and there was a gap there, that would mean that you still have a tear. He said, but your body has repaired itself. He said, so
Oh.
your limited range of motion is not tearing it anymore. It's just scar tissue. He's like, so here's my recommendation, go to physical therapy. And I'm a personal trainer, so I knew what exercises to do. But he's like, just know that because you formed scar tissue there, that the limitation in your mobility is not a tear anymore. It's just scar tissue that you have to break through. So I'm like,
Okay.
oh, game on. So
Yeah.
now for me, I've healed my body because I was using the peptides that I was very reluctant to do just to heal it. And then now I knew, like, okay, so when I'm doing those exercises, I can go past the point of that pain a little bit and discomfort because now I know all I'm doing is breaking through the scar tissue, right? I'm not
Exactly.
damaging I'm not tearing it anymore. And once I did that, I probably have 98% full range of motion and I've
That's
never had to get
fantastic.
surgery. And I did that with peptides and I did it with my own, again, discernment
Yeah.
because then I'm like, I don't want to I did not want to have surgery. I was like, nope, I'm going to do whatever I can not to have surgery. But he
Yeah.
said, listen, if it's not bothering you, he's like, you don't even need to come back here. And it hasn't bothered me.
I
And it's been
love that.
so.
Yeah. And again, this is happening to you like around the age of 50, where it's like we're told that, oh yeah, it's gonna take so long to heal. You're probably not gonna get there, or it's just you're gonna have to live with like this, limitation forever. And but no, 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 no. So I love that when you can share these things. So what have you noticed about women? You coach mostly women, correct?
Yes, I have a few. It's so funny. The women are getting I'll let you ask that question, but it's so
Yeah.
funny because women are getting the results and I have probably 6 to 8 men right now that are like, okay, will you help me? So I'm also coaching their husband because they're seeing the results that their wives are getting.
Yeah.
So I'm also coaching a few men, but most of my clients, yes, are
Well,
women.
that makes sense. I mean, seriously, right? You see somebody get results, you're like, well, heck, can it happen for me too? Like, why not, right?
Yeah.
So, what have you noticed about the women that you've been coaching over the years that over the last few years maybe that has shifted with women?
That's a really good question. I think a lot of the women, they're just tired, right? They've tried the same thing over and over. They've tried every supplement, they've tried diets on their own. They're just tired and they're finally surrendering. A lot of women, when they come to me, they're like, okay, I've tried everything. I can't lose the weight. I can't do this. I need help. And so I have to say, I'm so honored and proud of women that they're more open to coaching
Yeah.
because listen, I've had coaches my entire life. I've had
Mhm.
coaches through my competition days, through my coaching days. I've had business coaches. I've had mind power and mindset coaches. Like, I think coaches are so important because we can't see our own blind spots, right? Like,
No.
we can't see what am I doing wrong? Help me dive into this.
Yeah.
And there's seasons in our lives, and women, especially over the age of 40, we step into a new season that's unknown. And so many women are like, okay, what worked for me before is not working anymore. Can you please help? And that is where it's at, because coaches like yourself and like me, we're here to walk with women because we can see those blind spots for them. We can see what they can't see. We know, like, even being able to add in certain new peptides or supplements, or let's tweak your nutrition here and let's tweak your workouts and get you to stop doing cardio. As soon
Please.
as Yes, please. As soon as we do that, like, that's when things get completely dialed in and they
Yeah.
get the results that they've been struggling to get for so many years. And now they can get it in like 8 to 12 weeks, with a coach and with someone who has a program like this, like you do as well, that they know, all right, I'm finally going to get those results. And to me,
Mhm.
coach is everything. Right now I have two coaches in my life. I have a business coach and I have a mindset coach. Like,
Right.
I have coaches all the time
Yeah.
to help me. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I have a third one. A keynote speaker coach, because I'm a keynote
Oh,
speaker. So I have three coaches that I work with because I know that I can't do it on my own. Sure, can I go Google and YouTube things, but is that going to get me the results in business and standing on stage speaking and, with my mindset? No, I need a coach to help me. And I think coaches are some of the most invaluable, priceless, people that you can have in your life. And I think women are finally realizing now that they need a coach more than ever.
I totally agree. And I think that they're not only realizing, but they're feeling that it's okay to ask for help.
Hmm.
Right?
Hmm.
Because we've been, the
Yeah.
mom, the woman, we're supposed to be like, the superwoman with the cape, and we're supposed to be able to handle it all, the husband, the kids, the dog, the work, the career, the whatever, and show up like this every
Yeah.
single time. And yeah, we can probably mostly do it, but then that whole asking for help is this like not ever part of the equation. And it's like, okay, but I don't know if I'm allowed to do that. Like, shouldn't I just be able to figure this out? And I think I'm super happy that you're seeing that too, that you're noticing that women are just going, okay. Like whether it's coming from a place of desperation or whether it's just coming from a realization, I think that's super important that women are realizing that it's okay, that I can ask for help and I'm going to get some if I go
Yeah,
to the right place. I'm going to get some
absolutely.
valuable help, like with yours or my program, that they're going to get some valuable help, that it's going to be something they can use for life, not just a
Quick fix.
quick fix or like like a moment in time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love
So
that. It is okay to ask for support.
it is. And then to tag on to that, because this, I think, sort of dovetails right in, is the mental wellness issue. There are so many women out there, like it's the highest ever, struggling with depression and anxiety and brain fog, like all the things that go with the
Yeah.
mental wellness. And so, with your coaching and with your clients, how are you seeing that resolve, or like how are you seeing that play out with your
In a few
ladies?
ways, and I love that question because
Yeah.
in a few ways, number one, when we heal the gut, it
Mm,
also changes their mental wellness. I mean, because even brain fog comes from the gut, right? Whether
totally.
it's the gut not functioning, whether it's the hormones, whatever, but that comes from the gut. So when we heal the gut, I'm seeing a huge difference, and doing this coaching women for so many years, but especially the last few years, their mental wellness gets better. They're less snappy at their spouse and their kids. They're not waking up at 3 a.m. with racing thoughts and then trying to go back to sleep and then getting out of bed exhausted in the morning. They are having more mental clarity and focus during the day. Now, some of that can be natural supplements that I recommend in my programs, which I know that you do as well, but they're not having the depression, the anxiety, the overwhelm. And that allows us to really just be able to go, oh, wow, I can handle the chaos. I can handle the holiday stress. I can handle all these things without feeling like I'm lost myself in it.
Mm,
And because so many women have been struggling, they really have. And knowing when we can heal the gut, because again, that all comes from the gut. When we can give them the right type of supplementation that's also going to support that, that changes a woman's like ability to function at her highest level every single day.
Absolutely. And so then what do you see with um, women being able to, with all of that, when their mental wellness piece is locked in, right? And they've dialed that in the gut health, and they're like, oh my gosh, I had no idea I was suffering with so much brain fog and anxiety and whatever. And they're just kind of clear now. What do you see with their results going forward then, like over the long term?
So much results. First
Yeah.
of all, the cortisol, right? Like stress. I mean, we
Oh,
all have stress, and I laugh at people when they say, no, I don't. I actually had this the other day. A lady was like, no, I don't feel any stress at all. I'm like, let me just say, take these two fingers, put them right here. Okay, do you have a pulse? You have stress. Like everybody has stress. Okay. And if you don't have a pulse, then you must need a hug. But women have stress. And there has been so many expectations of us handling the kids, the grandkids, our career, our household. There's a lot.
a lot.
And so when we take on all that stress, not only internally do we have stress from not feeding our bodies properly, now you compound that with the external stress. Now our body is constantly in this fight or flight mode, and it is literally going to produce and store more fat. And it mostly stores it around the belly area as
Mhm.
well. But when we can, with mental wellness, and be able to regulate long term, not just short term, like regulate and teach our body to regulate that cortisol, now we're able to not only let go of the belly fat, yes, that does help it, but also we can handle all of this stuff long term, and then we feel better. And it's like putting the oxygen mask on ourselves first. And
Mm,
then, right? It's like we put the oxygen mask on ourselves first.
yep.
We feel better. Now we can handle all of the things, the work, the kids, the grandkids, the all of it. And then we feel better, not just in our skin, but we feel better as a woman and as a human being.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you can't pour from an empty cup. And I think so many women, they need to start filling that cup up for
Yes,
sure.
absolutely. When we don't, we need to put that oxygen mask on us first and take care of you, because you think like, no, I need to first, the right time will be after I take care of my family and take care of these things, and then it'll be the right time to take care of me. Actually, it's the opposite. The right time to take care of you is now, and then you'll be better equipped to be able to take care of all of those things, because you can't pour from an empty cup. We got to fill up your cup first. We got to help you feel your very best. And there's always that like, well, I want to lose weight. Well, first, let's talk about the underlying things first, then the
Yeah.
weight will come off. Let's fix everything else first, and then the weight will be a byproduct of us feeding you, of us helping your gut heal, of us helping you with your mental wellness, of us teaching you how to exercise right. Then you will lose the weight as a byproduct of putting that oxygen mask on yourself and filling up your cup first.
Awesome. I just love that. I just love that. So you have a program called Reignite Her. So tell us a little bit about that, because that's just a fairly new program that you've launched recently.
Yes, I've been coaching women for 15, 16 years total now. And a couple years ago, for years, my program was called Manifest Our Mojo. It was an acronym for mom, but I'm like, I don't want to just like manifest it. I want to help women really like dig deep, because
Mm.
I feel like, and it was really interesting how the whole name came to me. Like I was doing some like praying, and last year, right around the time I was 50, I had some real, no lie, I had a tough time leading up to my 50th birthday, because in my mind, I had perceived 50 to be like what I saw my mom turn 50 and my grandmother turn 50, right? Like I saw all of that, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't want to turn 50, and that's what life's going to be like. And so I went through this kind of like, I don't want to say depression, but it was more like this breakdown point. And I'm good with those, because I always know that after a breakdown comes a breakthrough. And
Okay.
in that time, I started really praying a lot, like really like, God, like, where are you leading me? Like, what is it that you're calling me to do with my purpose? And I had put my program, especially like the last 2 years, kind of off to the back burner. I was busy building another business, very successful, but I wasn't doing what I know that I was called to do, which was coaching women.
Mm.
And I just like, I try not to even get emotional talking about this, crazy. But I was like, God, like I feel like I lost my fire. And it was like, oh, how do I reignite that? And how do I help her reignite her? And so that's where the name of my program came from
I love that.
was it's called Reignite Her. And I want to help women like reignite her body, mind, purpose, spiritually. And so my program isn't just nutrition. I do nutrition, I do gut health, I do the right type of workouts. I have peptides in there now, the right ones to
Mhm.
customize and
Mhm.
fit. I have supplementations. I do mindset. I do all of that because I also became a life and performance coach over the last year. So, like, I now have all of these tools in my toolbox to help a woman finally reignite her. And that's what this midlife phase is for us, is to really truly from the inside reignite her.
I love that. Oh my gosh. It's such an amazing program and such an amazing gift you have for helping women. And you've just taught me so much over the years. I think I've known you for about, I think 4 years now,
Yeah,
5 years, or yeah,
probably closer to 5 years.
probably closer to five. Oh my gosh, time just flies. It's crazy. And no, I've always loved your heart. I've loved your heart for helping people in general, but you're diving in with women and you just do it with such passion and purpose, and I love that. So,
Thank you.
where can we find you?
I am all over Facebook and Instagram. Mandy White Eskelin. I know I have three last names, but sorry, three names, but Mandy White Eskelin. But I also have my new page on Instagram called Reignite Her. I have a private Facebook group where I dive in and do live videos for people that want to learn more, just to educate. Because again, I think about 2 years ago, I was completely ignorant on the whole peptide thing, and so I just love educating. I love educating so people can also make an informed decision for themselves. But either Reignite Her on Instagram or my name, Mandy White Eskelin, on Facebook and Instagram too.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much. Yeah, so you guys want to go and follow her for sure and check that out. Check out her programs, and yeah, stay tuned because she's got a lot of cool stuff coming. And we'll have to have you back again later in the new year and
Yeah,
find out how that program is going. And I want to hear some results about from your women and what's going on with you and how they're doing with all of that, with all the pieces that you're putting together, because I love to hear how that all plays out.
thank you.
So thanks for joining me here today. It's been super fun. Thanks for taking the time.
Thank you so much.